Okay, welcome to Homemade Movies Rewind. Today I'm watching our homemade alien scene. This is the full scene with the famous chest burster alien, very bloody. Let's take a look. And once again, here it comes. Yes, my boring intro that I'm sorry, I hate them. We should have just gotten right into the scene. I disagree with you, Cinefics, sorry. But I incorporate it into the first shot. That's the first shot, and then here we go. Talented actors here. We have Chris Sanger again in a crazy wig, but also featuring another kind of like YouTuber, big YouTuber at the time, Black Nerd Comedy, jumping in here. So it was cool to have all these fun guest stars starting to join into the Homemade Movies episodes.
What's the matter? The food ain't that bad, baby.
So, okay. A couple funny stories before it gets gruesome. There's a spoon in the cereal bowl, and we're just trying to match the kind of space-age cereal bowl and spoon and the pitcher and things, so we just bought some stuff at the 99-cent store. And after this episode, most of our props and our used things would just go into different organized bins, and we reuse them. For some reason, over the years, that spoon ended up in our normal spoon drawer, like in our house. And so to this day, we have that. And I told Priscilla finally, I'm like, this is from the Homemade Movies Alien episode. She's like, what? Really? I thought we just had that. I'm like, no, this weird plastic spoon is from the episode. So anyways, there it is. That's what it's from. And frosted mini wheats, I see. They're eating in space.
What's wrong?
Yeah, this is like the most gruesome episode we've ever done. Luke, who is about to have the alien burst out of his chest here, super tall guy. I know I talk about this in behind the scenes a lot, but tallest guy ever. And so the way he ends up climbing onto the table and writhing around on it, we thought the table was going to break for sure. And in between takes, we were taking a break, and he was walking around outside with his shirt completely covered in blood, and his hair, he looked nuts. And the neighbors like almost called the cops. They're like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" Because, I mean, the blood looks real. More on the blood in a second, but here we go. Get ready. If you're squeamish, don't watch this. All right.
Jeez.
Here it comes. There's Sean. He always helped out almost every episode. There's the spoon. Yeah, there's the spoon. See, it's very specific. I had to have like a little white plastic. Okay, here we go. Here we go. There's me. I don't know what I'm like barely holding his arm down there with my cigarette. Putting the spoon in. Okay, this goes on for a while, and then boom, here it comes. Oh, it's so gross. Here comes the alien. Okay, I'm gonna pause right there for a second. Here's the thing. I look back a lot on Homemade Movies and like what I wish I would have done different, and it was really hard not to get too obsessed with matching things perfectly. And I'll talk about it more later. When Ben and I were doing the final season that was at my house, we tried to pare it back down and just do like, I'm drawing a cloud rather than let's make the clouds look 100% realistic. So this is a good example of one that in retrospect, I feel like it should have been more homemade. So here we are trying to replicate stuff, and we bought a big jug of fake blood, and we're splashing the blood, and the alien's about to come out and everything. But in a way, it almost looks too good. It almost looks too realistic, which sounds crazy because here we are like at home just like making this crap up. Like it's so lo-fi. But when you really watch it back, especially shot for shot, it looks pretty legit. So what I would have done differently on this one, if I could go back, is just do like red yarn, right? Like red confetti and red yarn so that it's obviously very much homemade. And that way when you watch the side by side, it still matches frame by frame and shot for shot, but you get more of like a fun, silly homemade thing rather than something that some shots, honestly, almost look identical because it's like a close-up on blood. And the real movie used fake blood. We used fake blood, so it's kind of a wash, Like we kind of had to force ourselves sometimes to be more homemade. Okay, here it comes. The big, disgusting alien, which looks surprisingly realistic. It's just like a latex glove. Made into an alien, but like, see what I mean? It's disgusting, and it looks so real. That shot right there looks like a movie, which wasn't really the intent. It's supposed to look homemade. It's supposed to look more like silly. So imagine a bunch of like red streamers and red yarn. It would have been more funny, I think, and like a shot like that. So those are the things I really look back on. I'm like, man, we could have saved ourselves some trouble. It's not let's do it as best as we can because we can. But that's actually too far. For the homemade aesthetic, we need to intentionally force ourselves to pare it down, and it can save us some trouble. So this is something I've realized after the fact. At the time, it was like, just go, 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 go. But in the later seasons with Ben and I, we really made an effort to make things a little bit more simplistic. So next week's episode, one of my all-time favorites, because of course, I love Back to the Future. It's our homemade Back to the Future scene, the whole DeLorean, the whole climax. I love this one. Can't wait to revisit it. I'll see you next week.
Now you know what it's made of.
Oh man, I don't want to talk about what it's made of. I'm eating this. What's the matter? The food ain't that bad, baby.